but I didn't do anything any different than I always ever did. So, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, and I had sent some stuff out on what maybe we should cover tonight. So um, we'll get things underway here. First of all, let me ask: does anybody have any communications?
Rocco, you want me to cover that bat project now or under new business?
Yeah, you can go ahead and cover it now. That would be perfect for this, Mark.
Okay. About a week and a half ago, I got an email from a representative from New York State DEC, Fish and Wildlife Division, um, explaining a project that they're working on where they're taking bats from hibernation, attaching radio transmitters to them, and releasing them to track them to their summer roost sites. They do have some ground troops with radios available to track, but she was asking for the help of the amateur radio community. I offered to help and sent out some information. In essence, they have about 25 transmitters, all on a separate frequency, all with different serial numbers. They're not sure how many bats they're going to have or how many transmitters they're going to use. She estimates about 20 is what she thinks. The transmitters will work for about 2 weeks, and they're going to be using CW in the 150 megahertz range. I sent out information with the frequencies and serial numbers, and they'll be putting out pulses of about 30 to 35 per minute. So about every 2 seconds, they'll give a beep. I've got my radio set up to monitor and record, and I'm scanning all the frequencies that she gave us. I'm hoping other people can do the same. Honestly, I don't anticipate too much activity up here in the north, but I'm thinking folks further down south might have better luck. The bats are being released in the Lake George area, so anyone in that area might have the opportunity to record a hit. Being that it's a 2-week program, obviously no one's going to be expected to sit there and monitor it throughout the entire duration, which is why I've got my radio set to scan and record. If you're going to do that, or if you choose to participate at all, which I hope you do, just let me know, at least the next day if you've got any hits, and I will forward that information off to the DEC rep. She will also be doing a debrief and presentation later on, and that will be May 5th at 7:15. So anyone who wants to participate, I'll be sending a Zoom link out for that. But it sounds like a very interesting project. It gives us a chance to experiment a little bit, but more importantly, it gives us the opportunity to help a governmental agency. They don't ask for our help very often, and I think it's kind of important that when they do, we give it our best shot. So even if I can go to her and say, well, we have 25 stations around the area monitoring, even if we don't get a single hit, that still shows that we're able to and willing to help them with their project moving forward. So I think that's probably the most important thing. So again, if you can participate, that'd be great. Let me know so I can get a head count for them, if you would. And as the project moves forward, if you do get any hits, just let me know. That's about it, Rocco.
Thanks, Mark. I have my station at home will be, scanning and recording. And I programmed one of the computers at Freedom Field lunchtime today, and it is scanning and recording. So
beautiful.
It does nothing else. It's got an SDR on it. So that's what it's going to do for the next couple of weeks. So the Freedom Field station, you can tell them it's in the Albany Selkirk area.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I guess we won't well, what I got, let me do the old business first. Um and that is the SET. So the SET is coming up on Saturday. Um we had another Zoom meeting last night. Had 6 or 8 people on, something like that. We did go to 60 meters and tried things on 60 meters, and everybody was able to talk to everybody that was on, with the exception of Steve, who's in Florida. So that's no surprise. But anyways, I'm kind of hopeful that what we find out on Saturday will be pretty pretty informative. So I did, as requested, make a change to the spreadsheet that's online. So if anybody wants to use the spreadsheet, they can. And I put a drop down menu for whether it's an EOC or not. There's also a PDF log online that you can download, print, and use if you wish. I think Mark had Mark, you had the best idea, is have people send their logs to their EC, their local EC, and then the EC can forward them on, or compile them, whatever they want to do, and forward that list on. However you want to do it will work. I would expect that maybe the ECs should probably tell their people, 10 days, give them 10 days to get you the logs, unless they're mailing them, whatever. That may be a different story. And then, when you get the logs, forward them to me as soon as you can. I'd be looking for all the logs, say 20 days after. I think that would be plenty of time. And then at that point, I'm going to go ahead and just make one giant spreadsheet and put that up online for anybody to download. And then from there, if you wanted to make maps of it, certainly you can. But that's the plan. I will be getting on the air sometime directly after my shift ends on the graveyard net Saturday. So when I'm done with that net, I'm going to look for an open frequency on 60 meters. When I have an open frequency on 60 meters, I am going to send an email out to NNY SEC group first, and then the other NNY Aries and ENY, NNY MCOM, whatever. And then guys, when you see that, just please pass that along. Now I know Fred W2 EMS is going to piggyback something VHF on top of it for them. We have got commitments from stations in Eastern New York, Western New York, and New York City, Long Island. So I don't know how many stations we'll have on, but hopefully we will have some representatives from all over the state to see how this works. And then Pete has also told me that there's a possibility that somebody is going to activate the state EOC as well for this. So that would be nice if that happened. The format again for this, we're going to have a couple of different categories of check-ins. ECs and EOCs will fall under one category, and then just regular check-ins will fall under another. When let's say Don checks in as a regular check-in, What I'm going to do is run Don through, say everybody else was on it, so I'll run Don through, all the ECs and EOCs that are on. So, for instance, I'll have Don call Paul, exchange signal report. Don call Jerry, exchange signal report. Bob, Mark, same thing. We'll run you down through the list, and then Don, at that point, is free to secure his station if he wants, or if he wants to hang out and listen to who else comes on and write down how well he received that station, more than welcome. But what I'm hoping will happen is, with a little commitment from us, being there for the time, we can get a lot of people through and in and out, and they won't mind checking in, because the wait will be short. We'll run them through the list, and then they're on their way with their Saturday, and maybe we can get quite a few people to get reports. So we'll just see what happens with it. So anything else on the SET?
Do you have an actual time that you're planning to start, Rocco?
Well, we said that it would start at 9, from 9 to 11.
Okay.
But I am going to get on the air, Mark, as soon as I am done with the graveyard net, which is around 8. So
okay.
Probably what I'll do is I'll finish the net at 8. I'll make another cup of coffee, and then try to find the frequency and get on the air. Now, what I told the guys last night is that doesn't keep anybody else from finding a frequency early. And if you decide that, somebody decides they want to do that, that's great too. Just post it up where you're at, and we'll come to you. So, it shouldn't be too hard to find wherever we are, because there's only 5 frequencies. So, and they're all in the same band. So, just a reminder, it is, it's upper sideband, and anybody who has never used 60 meters, ARRL site actually gives you the 5 frequencies you would use if you're on upper sideband. So, I think last night, when we were on 53.35 or something, 53.30.5, I think, something like that. I don't even remember now, but it was something like that. Well, anyway, any other questions on that?
I got over to the Lake Pleasant Firehouse and got maybe it was quarter after. When did you guys actually get on the air?
Probably, I don't know, maybe quarter after, 20 after, I think, and we stayed till, I want to say I was off at 20 of.
Because I didn't hear anybody, so I found a free channel and called, and nobody came back to me. And then I heard some guys on channel 5, and I said, "Well, is this thing working? I'll call them." It was 2 guys in Canada. One was in Nova Scotia and the other was in Newfoundland, and they were, like we were all 10 over to each other, and so we chatted for a little while, and then I thought, well, maybe if people are trying to find a frequency, they'll find this one. And I put my call out, and then they left, and so I called again. A guy answered me from basically the coast, I guess, of Mass, because he was talking about a sailboat. And we talked for a while, and every once in a while I'd put out a call. So I must have, for some reason, not heard you guys when you got on. But, it was a great illustration of how nicely 60 meters worked at that time. So
we were on channel 1, 53.30.5.
Okay. Yeah, when I listened, there wasn't any, there might have been some faint conversation in the background. I'm not sure how I missed that, although, like I said, after going back and forth a few times and not hearing them, I ended up kind of chatting with these guys, but that's okay. Now, whether radio will be on the air Saturday or not remains to be seen, but I know it works. I'll be here.
Okay, very good.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for those that want to check their home setups, there is a net on channel 2, US channel 2, each night at 5:30. And I checked in this evening and spoke with a guy in Syracuse. So that's available if you want to check out your home setup.
Thanks, Steve. I think we're going to find out that it's going to work well for us. I really do.
Yeah, there's also a net at noon if you're retired. The 5 o'clock is what? The short and sweet net, they call it. And
Correct.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at noon, I think it's on Channel 5 also, is they call themselves the Moose and Squirrel Net. So that's another one.
Ooh, somebody make big trouble for moose and squirrel. All right, very good. Anything else on the set? Okay, field day. Well, let's leave that for new business. Any other old business? All right, sliding on the new business, field day. Probably going to be pretty typical of what we do most of the time. So I'm just going to ask that as soon as you know what you're doing, where you're doing it, whatever, please post your location. I want to try to do something. I'm going to see how it works out. But you know, maybe I'd like to give something to each field day location, and then let who's ever in charge at the location figure out how to give it away. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm going to try to come up with something. So just as I know we haven't given anything away on field day before, but you know, maybe, you know, somebody knows they'll have a chance to win something from the section if they're doing field day with their group. And so we'll see how many people we get and maybe what we can figure out to give away or to do. And I don't know what that'll be yet, but I'd like to be able to do something just to, you know, everybody gets a chance maybe to win something just as a thank you for going out and participating. So
Kenwood 990 would be nice.
it would. So why don't you go ahead and order it and send it here?
Okay.
And I'll see to it that I win. I mean, that somebody wins it. Yes, yes. All right. Any questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts on field day?
Rocco,
Yes, Don.
just to let you know, I've signed up for that Zoom meeting tomorrow night that deals with public information on field day.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, sir.
And I'll keep you informed as to how it went.
That would be awesome. And whatever you do, Don, as far as you know, getting information out and whatever is obviously it's at your discretion. You know what you're doing, so you know, however you feel it needs to happen. Just holler. You ain't got to raise your hand.
Oh, okay. Hey, Eastern Fulmont and Mohawk Valley are putting like an information booth out front this year. We did last year, it worked, but we didn't get close enough to the road. So like we had Red Cross come up and visit us, the politicians come in and visit us and stuff like that. So this year we're also going to put the that, what is it, Get on the Air, that you know, just, I don't think I've been working it that much. So I'm hoping to have the 2-meter antenna and radio set up at that. So maybe we can get some of the new people on the air, you know, some of the local clubs. I think I'll try Tryon or somebody like that where they might have somebody on the air all the time. So when somebody wants to try, there'll be somebody there to answer. Just want to throw that out there in case other people want to do that. Maybe we can make some 2-meter contacts and see what we can do.
Cool. Here's an idea too, for those of you who are going to have a station out by a road or where there's going to be people or whatever. And it's something that the Bear Bait Radio Club has done in the years past, and it looks very good. They've got they've got their logging all tied together, and they use they're using W3FJP as well, or N3FJP, and they have a large monitor or TV or whatever hooked up to it, where they've got it cycling through a few things. But one of the things they show is the map of the states and sections work. So that's a pretty cool thing to do as well. But the name of the game for field day is to have fun. Go out with your club and have fun. And if you learn anything great, that's always a bonus. I know I tend to be hungry about the time I hit Mark's place. He feeds me well. I appreciate that. And but I look forward to doing the dash every year, and we're going to do it again this year, and hopefully have some stuff to give away. So,
We get any representation from the league other than yourself, Rocco?
are we going to?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Nobody has said anything.
Okay.
And this might be things may get interesting pretty quick. So we'll see what happens. But I was talking to the Hudson Division director at the Hamfest the other day, and he seems to think that the Hudson Division, he seems to think that we're going to become part of the Hudson Division pretty quick.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yep. We'll wait to see what happens there, but we did have a rather lengthy conversation, and I'll fill you in a little bit more on that as I know more, Mark.
All right.
I don't know a lot right now, other than if it's going to happen, it's probably going to take place. I think he said at the July meeting.
So is that like New York City, Hudson?
It could be.
Okay.
I think that New York City, Long Island is part of the Hudson Division. I'd have to look.
Different world.
Well, it doesn't affect us as a section,
Well, if they try to roll it together, it's just like,
but it has nothing to do with the section.
okay.
It's the division. The section would still stay the way the section is. They're not talking about rolling sections into other sections. They're just talking about consolidating divisions at this point.
Gotcha.
So, okay. Anything else on field day? All right. So I'm sure by now some of you have heard about or seen some of the stuff going on with the Activate the Adirondacks event. So, as a matter of fact, we've kind of been going back and forth a little bit. We changed the date to accommodate a conflict with another POTA meetup. And so this event is basically going to be the second week in September. It's the same weekend as the VHF contest. Now, originally, I was trying to avoid that. So it'll be the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Originally, I was trying to avoid that. But then the more I thought about it, the more it seemed like maybe a good thing to do, because there's a lot of people who go up on mountaintops for the VHF contests and fire towers and whatever, and try to activate those. So that would be a 2-for-1 if they brought, an HF rig and had folks man the HF rig. Then they could also be, if they were in a park, then they could be POTA. If they were on a mountaintop, it would be SOTA, or at a fire tower, it would be a fire tower thing. So the idea behind this on that weekend is basically you're doing just that. You're going out somewhere in the Adirondacks or surrounding areas and activating. You can do it from anywhere, but more or less to activate a park or a summit or a fire tower. So there's going to be activators and chasers. We're talking about 3 levels of awards, which will be in PDF format and emailed to folks. So there'll be a bronze level award, a silver level, and a gold level award. And they will be based on contacts. We have not ironed all of that out yet. That will be ironed out at our next meeting. We thought we had pretty much a format for just call sign, signal report, serial number, and if you were optionally, if you were at a park or a summit or a fire tower, that number, the park number, the summit number, whatever that designator is. Today, one of the guys from POTA seemed to have a bit of an issue with us doing the serial number thing. And we have decided we don't care. We're leaving a serial number in there. He thinks it may be confusing. The reason we're leaving the serial number in is because you'll be eligible for awards, and we have to have an easy way to cross-check the log, right? So I don't want to be looking through KD2QLH's log, trying to find somewhere in the 500 contacts he made KD2RJP's phone call. But if I look in Bob's log and he says that Mark was number 114, I can look at 114 in Mark's log and find Bob. And the cross-checking is just that quick. Now, are we going to cross-check every stinking QSO? Absolutely not, because we don't know how many people we're going to get. But the idea would be if you cross-checked 20 or so in each log, that would be enough to know if, how good's the log. Do 5 in the beginning, maybe 10 somewhere in the middle and 5 at the end of the log. And if they cross-check, they cross-check. I know a lot of other places do it that way. So right now, that's the plan. The stuff is up on the NNY ARRL site. If you go over to the events part, you click on events. Of course, there's a calendar there with Hamfest and stuff on it, which we're keeping updating and adding to and lining out stuff that's already happened. When there's a page called Activate the Adirondacks, and we're also posting some of that stuff online as well. So we ask that you post this to the different Facebook groups as well as that you're part of. If you need the flyer, the flyer graphic or any of the logos, send me an email. I will email them to you, and you'll be all set. The more we can spread it around, the better. But we've got a lot of interest. JP's got a page made so far where people can sign up, and he's getting quite a few signups. And the POTA people, and they're having a meetup and stuff, and they have made up some stuff. They're calling it a September to Remember, and they are advertising the event as well. So it looks like they're going to have a POTA meetup the one week in Watkins Glen, activate the Adirondacks the next weekend, then the Erie Canal activation the following weekend, and there's something going on the fourth weekend. I forget what it is. There's another meetup somewhere for POTA. So I like the whole September to Remember thing. It looks like we're going to have some fun with that event. So, all right. Any questions on that? Okay, that's all I have. So we'll go around the room here, and we'll start with Jerry, N2ZGN.
All I've got to say is that weekend is the Battle of Plattsburgh up here, and Saturday we'll have a station on, probably definitely VHF, UHF, and Matt will probably bring his Zygu with him, so we should be on HF too, and that's right at the battlefield of the Battle of Plattsburgh in 1814. So should be we should get some contacts there.
Very good. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, that'll be fun. Bob, KD2QLH.
Nothing to report here, Rocco. Thanks.
Okay. Mark, KD2RJP.
Other than the Bat Project, nothing much going on here either.
Okay. Paul, W2POL.
Oh my goodness, yeah, we got stuff going on. Spring Fling is going to be coming up. Let's see, the date on that is May 20th. So that's right downtown Amsterdam. Our club's going to be set up down there, talking to a whole bunch of amateur radio operators. We did that before, and I'll tell you, by the end of the day, your voice is very hoarse. It's amazing the number of people that want to talk about it. So that, and also I want to remind people about the Get on the Air stations too for the field day. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Testing, the club is growing. We picked up 3 members just last weekend, so it's really going good. So that's what's going on in our little world.
Good. Keep it up. For those of you who may not know this, Paul, being one of the newer ECs, has taken a group that had 2 members. And how many you have now? 18?
No, we're up to 21 now.
Very good. Good job. Good job. That's adding to the pool of operators in reserve. Steve, WV2Z, what do you got tonight?
Not too much. Hope to join you for the set. We got 2 operators, myself and AC2RH, going to go up to the alternate EOC in Messina and set up maybe a couple of 60-meter antennas and kind of try and compare. And the process is hopefully will help us with a sales pitch to get an HF antenna at our main EOC in Canton. So that's the plan, and hopefully catch you guys, some of you, on Saturday.
Very cool. The thing is, if you've got somebody around, I have a feeling if we have any officials from our served agencies around, I have a feeling they're going to hear how well we can communicate throughout the state on 60 meters, and that may be something that is worth having them see. Now, with our luck, the sun will get pissed off and throw some stupidity at us, and there'll be a total radio blackout. But that, barring that, I think this could be a really good opportunity for us to show off. Don, KD2VIU, what's up?
The sky, the moon, the clouds.
I knew it. Thanks for signing up for that thing for field day. And if there's anything we can do to help, please reach out to the group via the NNY Sec Reflector too.
Will do.
Pete, W2PR.
Hi, Rocco. Well, not much. Last meeting with M. Vera, Ken, the new president, entertained a discussion about field day with our little club, and apparently we might be going to a separate site again. We might be doing it right at the sheriff's complex. That seemed to be the sentiment. I don't know, the details yet, but that seems to be a change of venue for us. So, we'll stay tuned on that. We're discussing what that would involve and getting permissions and such right now. But I know one thing: wherever field day is, it'll be successful and everybody will have fun and be a good event. So back to you, Rocco.
Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I know the clubs had worked together the last few years, so not sure what's going on there, but if it comes up for a vote, whatever, I'm sure they'll work it out one way or the other. Nate, what's going on?
Not too much, just getting repeaters on the air and starting just to build out our bench of trained operators. We're going to be working on going through some of the APCO courses for radio interoperability as we found out that Essex County during their active shooter drill did not know about NIFOG nor the interoperability guidelines. So since they don't know it, we might also teach the hams it so they can outperform the 911 people when it comes to radio communications. So we're going to be working on that, going through the APCO radio training program for interoperability.
Nate, why don't you fill some of the folks in real quick about just really quick overview, if you can, what you've been doing with the repeaters and stuff.
Okay, so myself, Tony, Jerry, Christian have all been putting up a bunch of different repeaters. The game plan for Franklin Essex is to try and do D-Star repeaters hosted by local hams in a strategic area. The mountaintops, we've been trying to put up primarily analog for wide area coverage with a mix of DMR and P25. And so that's kind of the layout of different repeaters up here. Is we have a bunch of standalone P25, linked P25, and then the primary is mostly analog with a little bit of DMR at each site. So the layout of a site, at least in our neck of the woods between Jerry, myself, and Tony, is going to have analog, DMR, and P25, and then certain sites like Pisgah, Terry, and Belfry will have D-Star, and then we'll fill in the voids down low at firehouses where we need to try and gain the best coverage we can. So in case the mountaintop fails or the politics get too disgusting, we can just ixnay the top of the mountain and come down low and do community hosted repeaters. That's kind of the short and sweet of it, is we're trying to get the hams involved in helping out their community by hosting a repeater.
All right, very good, Nate. Yeah, we had, for those of you who may not have seen the conversation, there was some pretty good discussion going on back and forth, and there was some pros and cons about the different modes and whatever. It is my opinion, and this is just my opinion. I'll let Pete and the ECs, it's up to you guys to come up with a consensus. If you want an official digital mode for the section, but it is just my opinion that if there was gonna be an official mode, it should probably be D-Star. And the reason I say that is because both Kenwood has adopted D-Star now, and ICOM as well. System Fusion has proved to be nothing more than system confusion with a lot of people in those nodes and whatever. And DMR has proved to be, for way too many people, too complicated to write the code plugs for, which it sort of is, but it's not bad once you start, writing the code plug. But but at least with DMR, equipment is readily available. And you can get a cheap radio, but that's my opinion. But whatever you guys think is best, I'll absolutely, positively, 100% support. As long as it's not a mode where somebody's got to spend several hundred dollars to $1,000 on a radio, which I know there's a few of them out there that I will not support. But anything that a ham can put in their shack at a reasonable price. And I know DMR radios can be cheaper than D-Star radios, but I also know that there's far, far, far too many people are struggling with code plugs, and so I don't know where that fits in. But and also there's starting to get to be several D-Star HF nets too, so that's starting to get popular. But that'll be up to you guys to figure out with Pete. But I just wanted to throw that out there. And speaking of Pete, KC2WI.
Yeah, okay. I don't really have anything really that hasn't been talked about. I think the one thing, if I was going to focus on anything for field day, and people have said this, it is getting both the public and the people who you'd like to have use you, and it might be the county legislators more than the county emergency manager. And like you say, see what we can do. And so in your field day, I would focus on having it look very, professional for a bunch of amateurs, and have the literature and all that kind of thing. I'm trying to get that to happen here, but I don't see it. But that to me, is a good thing. And also, so the public for comms. But I think the one thing that we another in that we have is, instead of just focusing on radio, focus on, for the youth, particularly on STEM activities. So field day is a great thing for that. The 60-meter thing, that's been covered. And I don't know what else. The activate the Adirondacks. Well, I don't know if I'll do it this week because of our thing, but Saturday morning is the 8 o'clock is the New York NBEMS net, and so it's a really good excuse to send a message that says, "Hey, we're going to do activate the Adirondacks." It's a really good excuse to send a message that says, "Hey, don't forget about the Southern Adirondack Ham Fest." And there's a bunch of other NBEMS nets on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and you could send that message on the PA net or the Massachusetts nets and all those to get the word out. So that's a good thing. As far as the digital mode, I don't know. Whatever people have the funding to do, that's fine. I agree with the DMR being kind of confusing and limiting in a sense, because you can't just program stuff on the fly. But on the other hand, hands down, it's the least expensive option as compared to D-Star or whatever. But that's the first digital mode I ever did, was D-Star. I never had a D-Star radio, but I did it with my thumb DV, and that was probably 15 years ago now. And boy, it used to be really, really active. Maybe it's coming back. I don't know. So that's whatever the the counties want to do. I don't. It'd be nice if we could have a uniform standard across the section, but I don't see that. It's whatever people have the time and money to do as far as putting up repeaters.
Okay, Pete, thanks. Steve, K2ALS.
Hi, Rocco. Really all I got going on is we're at the club, we're prepping for this weekend for the SET and, of course, field day and the Adirondack activation. Paul, as far as the GOTA stations, we'd be glad to work with you on contacts back and forth. Another thing you might want to consider that we've been doing with the Fort Herkimer Club is every year we get on the air with them and do the exchange for the 10 formal messages also. We pre-schedule that way both clubs get credit for that. So we'd be glad to work on with you on that also. So I guess that's about it, Rocco.
Okay, I want to share here if I can real quick. Let me see here. I want to share this screen with you. Okay, can you guys see that? So that's the flyer right now for Activate the Adirondacks, and if you scan the QR code there, of course, it'll take you right to the NNY-ARRL page, and that's where the sign up is. If you want to sign up, you don't, of course, have to sign up to be part of it. So, but anyways, I just wanted to show you what the flyer looked like. That can be emailed to anyone who wants it. There's some other graphics too. I just wanted you to see that. So.
Yeah, one suggestion, Rocco, maybe you want to, the QR code is nice, but if I'm on my computer, it's much easier for me to say, oh, that's nnyarrl.org and type it into the browser. So put it below the, QR code. I don't know. If I have to do a QR code, I got to capture it and yada, yada, yada. It's easier to type a few characters in.
I'll say something to Don. He's the one making these.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen that on a bunch of things. It's like, just because you can do that with a phone or whatever,
we're going to that, doing a lot of that at work now on all the labels and stuff, because it seems to be what people are asking for.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? What does it cost to put unless it's some hugely long URL, why not put that below it for us?
This is
smartphone resistors.
This isn't long.
No, it's not. Right.
So, all right. Anybody have anything else? Questions, comments, suggestions?
Yeah, I got a question for Nate. You mentioned APCO interoperability training. What is that, Nate? I've just went over to their website, and of course they got training that they'll sell you. I basically searched APCO interoperability training and didn't come up with a specific thing.
Yeah, it's not a specific single course. It's a bunch of different courses based on just learning the lingo of public safety. So like in APCO, when they teach a dispatcher to talk, they don't use the international phonetics. They use Henry for H instead of hotel and things like that. There's the Radio Tech $90 exam, which basically teaches you the basics, fundamentals of public safety radio technology. It's like a mini COM-L, I guess is the best way to put it, Pete. So there's just different trainings that APCO has that may be applicable to helping us build our skill level from a technical side to make us more valuable to the public safety entity outside of just being radio operators. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, is get people on the looking over the NIFOG, looking at the the ATAX, the UTAX, all the interoperability stuff that goes along with that. Because as part of being in Essex County, we're finding that not even the 911 people know anything about that, and it'd be nice if the hams could already know it and even educate their local car one, car two people and be part of that solution and work with a plan. But it's hard to work with them if we don't speak their language, and they're not going to speak our language anytime soon. So it's just a bunch of like, there's some free courses, there's some paid courses, but it's just a recommendation I'm making to some of the hams who really want to dive into the MCOMs type stuff.
Yeah, that's actually, that would be, not a bad thing to put together a real quick overview of, you know, for most of us who are not in that public safety comms, what their SOP is, what maybe if they have a standard, Adam Baker, Charlie, thing, and that. But the other thing, Nate, is that's kind of what Auxcom does. It's not a radio course. It's how to, in this case, within the the ICS. So again, maybe you can get, I don't know, Paul Smiths to host one of those or something.
Yeah, we could try that. We can put out a feeler and do like a little survey and just see if we would get enough people to make the people at risk, and you want to drive all the way to the middle of Paul Smiths to teach it. That's the only question.
Well, I think what I'm seeing is they are doing, well, they're not from Oriskany, it's probably the guys in Albany, or wherever they are. But what I'm seeing is I know actually that they want to do them, and they want to do outreach. In other words, they don't want to just do it at the SPTC. They want to do it regionally, so people will attend. And
let's let you guys discuss that offline, because that's really that's not anything that everybody's going to get into. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. That could be expecting a lot of volunteers who just want to go out every now and then with their HT and do a race or an event or something. So that's kind of that's a little beyond the scope of Aries.
Yeah, it is. But
so
it would
then
be worth,
for
those who want it,
Yep.
And the nice thing about it is if you do it, now you're part of the state commune, which is a good credibility thing for your local guys,
And that's great, but that's beyond the scope of Aries and what we do. So while I don't have any problem with anybody doing that, it can't be expected of any Aries member. I wouldn't support expecting that type of commitment from any Aries member as well. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And in my mind, it's going to scare off more people than it's going to bring in. We want to bring in the experienced communicator just as well as we want to bring in the first year ham with his HT. So to try and talk about any of that kind of stuff, they're going to hear all this terminology and go, I know nothing about it, and you're going to scare them off. So if anybody thinks any different, educate me, but I don't think that's the answer. So anybody got anything else? Okay, Nate, on that note, guys, and Nate, if you get any more information on that, or Pete, and there's going to be a course or something coming up, share it, because we'll get it out to the group, because I know we have people who would be interested, but I just don't want to push stuff like that very hard. Mark, any comments on that?
Well, I agree with you on that, Rocco. I think you're probably going to scare some people away. in any group, there's going to be a couple people that are going to want to get into it real deep, and those will be the people that'll be more interested in that kind of course. But overall, I mean, we have a hard time getting people to do the ICS training. I really doubt they're going to want to dive in that deep.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great Easter. Talladega is this weekend for any of the NASCAR fans. I plan on having a bourbon and watching Talladega up at camp. So, and it looks like it could be a good motorcycle riding weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. So I want to thank everybody for giving up an hour of their Tuesday night again. I think we got some stuff talked about. If you any suggestions that you have for field day, activate the Adirondacks, the set before Saturday, please put them on the NNY Sec Reflector, and we'll talk about this stuff and keep things going. Other than that, you've all got my number. I'm available when you need me, and we'll see you next month.
Hey, Rocco.
Yes.
Don't forget, we got 3 weeks until the
DePaulville
Hamfest.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
this-
I'm looking forward to that. And anybody who's going to be there Friday night, Reed and I have decided if it's decent, we're going to roll our butt over to Lafargeville and take in the 358 show at Can-Am. So anybody who wants to go to the stock car races, you know where we'll be. We may even stick around Saturday night and roll back over to Evans Mills. I've really come to like that racetrack a lot. They've got 4 major events this year, and I've already booked my they've got these little box suites, and I've already booked it for all 4. So
Well, have fun, Rocco, and I'll say good night to everybody.
Yep. Good night, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later.
And before everybody goes, 2nd and 3rd of May